Good morning, everyone. This is Rahul Sharma, a Vedic practitioner from Chicago. Today, I am taking a very specific subject on the Vritti in Hindi. We call it inclination or a spiritual inclination or self inclination. And I came across with this article in a recent monthly publication magazine, Akhand Jyoti, published from Shanti Kunj Haridwar, which Gurudev started in 1926, and this is the August edition and page 12. And I like this article. That's the reason I thought to bring this to you in English narration so you can understand, take advantage, and change your life for better. So let's understand Vrati in Hindi is nothing but the inclination. And Vrati is our thoughts, our emotions that shape our personality and guide our life. So many of you may be very happy, very peaceful, stress free at this time, or you may be having stress. So all those things are determined by our inclination or vratis, and it can lift us up towards the clarity, growth, and service, or it can pull us down towards the ego, selfishness, and unrest. So because of this vratis or self inclination or a spiritual inclination, a person moves forward and builds life according to their interest and goal. So unless we know what is the root cause of our today's suffering and stress and health, we will not be able to correct it. So this is the path of course correction, and that's where I like this article which Gurudev has written long back, but again is republished now. So the whole world is a collection of the vrittis or tendencies or inclination, and is built upon them. And these are the main source of the human intellect and the learn about life in everyday things. So let's understand how we can do that. So vrati, the inner power within us that shapes our life, and there are two direction of vratis, as you might have understood by now. One is the restless vrati, which pull us towards the ego, greed, anger, selfishness, and which focus only on the power, money, or image. So now you can always classify the people you meet, what kind of vrati they have. Are they always focused on the power, money, or image? Then that will lead them for sure in inner unrest and eventual downfall. They may not seem from outside. You may be very impressed with their power, their money, and their status. But if you really could get into their heart, you'll find they are having inner unrest, and eventually, long term, you see any historical, um, leaders, political leaders, they rise fast with their ego-driven vritis, but then they collapse when greed, corruption, or anger dominate. I'm just taking one of the example, Richard Nixon's Watergate scandal, just to give you an example to make a point. So that's one type of the vrati. The second type of vrati, the inner power, which shapes our life, we call them selfless purpose or the upward path, which what we only need to have. That channel vritis towards the service, discipline, and higher goals for the society outside ourselves, and that bring the long-term success, respect, and peace. Example: Mahatma Gandhi, his vritis were guided by the truth, the satya, and the non-violence. And despite no money, weapons, or position, his inner discipline or his vritti ignition moved millions and freed a nation like India. Now, with this two kind of vratis, what we need to do today. So today is the time when you do the self introspection of your own vrati. If you're feeling stress, conflict, or confusion, then ask: Are my vritis restless, full with ego, anger, or greed? Or are they calm, patience, truth, service, and you have the complete satisfaction or self content? That's what you saw. So based on the current result of your stress confusion, then you have to take an action. And that action will be shifting your vratis with the daily habit. So how you can change your vratis or inclination, which came through your birth, you can have some daily habits of meditation, reflection, selfless action, and the conscious choice. So how you're going to focus on those towards the vratis? Let's talk about what should be our goal. So our goal to steer our vritis for peace and happiness for long term. There are 8 major habits of the strong vritti which Gurudev has mentioned in this one-page article. First thing is the yagna. Yagna is nothing but the selfless service. The Gurudev, Pandit Shriram Sharma, Acharya, Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, and there are many such examples. If you go into the details, you will realize that whatever they did for their entire life was for the society upliftment and for the freedom of a nation, or something similar which has helped and moved millions of people. So that's we call it yagna, or selfless service. Swadhyay, or self-study or learning. I am giving you current example. Bill Gates still reads hours daily, showing curiosity as a lifelong practice. Okay, I develop this habit also. I also make sure that I read or at least listen some audiobooks on a daily basis. Then the third thing we need to focus as one of the goal for daily meditation is charity. Example, Warren Buffett pledged most of his wealth to philanthropy, guided by the vrittis of the giving. So he had the spiritual inclination or tendency. The tapas, or the tap, or the discipline. Serena Williams is a good example. She trained relentlessly even after setbacks and letting discipline guide her success. You can read more about it and understand, and you can also do the tap. Tap doesn't really mean that you are going to the Himalayas or some mountains or cave and then not eating anything or not talking to anybody. That's not tapas. Tapas is always about the self-discipline. Truth, besides Mahatma Gandhi, the other example is Abraham Lincoln, who built trust and unity on honesty, earning the title of Honest Ab. And then patience. Steve Jobs waited years after being ousted from Apple, came back with maturity and built history. So as long as we are on the right path and our vrittis are right, we are going to be rewarded, and no matter what, how long it takes. And then forgiveness. Pope John Paul II forgave his own assassinator, showing the vrittis of the compassion. Same thing, Gurudev Shriram Sharma Acharya, when he was attacked by one of the person with the knife in his right hand, he also forgave him, and he let the volunteers let him go. And the last part is freedom from greed, which is also important vritti for your long-term happiness and peace. So Ratan Tata is one of the great example on from India on nation building, not as a person, lived very simple life despite heading one of the biggest empire, including TCS or Tata Consulting. So these are some of the 8, I would say, vrittis or inner tendencies which you need to be focusing on your daily meditation. So these are a couple of the action item as a summary. Do a self introspection and to identify your own inclination and compare with your current state of restlessness or calmness. Decide what you want, set your goal, and then remind yourself that great leaders, athletes, businessmen, they succeeded not by luck, but by disciplining their vrittis, inclination, aligning them with patience, truth, service, and higher purpose, as the example given in this short video. And then finally, the action is on you. Shift your vrittis with daily habit, meditation, reflection, selfless action, and conscious choice. Great example, one of the book which I recommended earlier also is The Inner Engineering, a Yogi's Guide to Joy by Gurudev. A spiritual yogi guide on self-transformation helps you look inward, understand how your mind and energy work, and align with a more joyful, purposeful life. With this, if you have any questions, you have any recommendations on next topic, feel free to reach out to me on my email, rahulrenusharma@gmail.com, or you can write comments under the video. I will definitely check when I get time. And there are a lot of books are being recommended here. As I mentioned, self-study or swadhyay, when Bill can read, you can also read. Pick up any one of those good books, and you will find all the training and teaching and lessons with our Vedas and Purana has given for thousands of years. But now you may relate to this kind of current bestseller books, which can help you to achieve what you really wanted to achieve. With this, thank you everyone. Talk to you next Saturday.